That's the difference. Is Meta, you're buying the haystack, hoping there's a lot of needles. Google, you're trying to buy just the needles. If you put yourself in the middle of a stadium, okay, you're in a football stadium and you walk out during halftime and you grab the mic and you say, folks, I have a 21 juice cleanse available for half off. Theoretically, 80% of those people would be like, okay, I'll try it. Now, if I walk out to that same thing and say, hey, folks, who has lost their dog this week? There's probably a lot fewer people, but I have to pay for all of those with Meta. Yeah. So that is the kind of the thought process that you have to think about is, can I afford this mass marketing because there's a large portion of these people inside of the general population? Or is this really when I have to kind of wait for them to search? The amount of answers between those two questions will dictate your spend levels. Now watch this. When we're looking at the in-platform metrics, remember here how this is a $36 CPA because it's counting more returning customers than new. So this one, if I look at this here, this one has 129 purchases, 129 sales, 25 of them are new, which means 75% of these or 80% of all of these transactions are repeat conversions.
Right.
So as you start to reduce your spend, the delta between the return and the new, these two here, you can see the new start to shrink, but the returns stay about the same size. New starts to shrink, but return stays approximately the same size. The reduction here is much less than the reduction here. So if you're counting more repeat than new,
driving gross is the top one.
But those are the expensive ones. I want the free ones because that makes CPA look good.
But eventually they're going to run out. Sorry.
Exactly. Yeah. You used to have 60% new, 40% returning. Now you have 70% returning, 30% new. Your CPA has never looked better. And close your company. Wow. So now watch this.
You have just optimized yourself out of business.
Exactly. I call it chasing ROAS into the ground. That's basically all it is. But now look at this. This is October. This is just when we looked at October in this date range here. This is October 6th to October 27th. So not even a full month of just that scale. And all of a sudden our new customers went from 979 up to 1,400. That is a nice little bump. But what's cool about this is, yes, it is going to look absolutely more expensive when you buy more new than the free returning. The free returning costs you nothing. All of the new is coming at a cost of what? Well, we know it's about $90. So if you have an average of $50, you add a whole bunch of $100 in there, that $50 goes up to $75. People want that to go down. They want it to go to 35. Okay, we'll take all the new customers out. That's better. Yeah, and platform metrics will drive your company into the ground.
And I forget the business model of this business. Once again, it's not a one-time purchase, or it is.
Sometimes we're going to be remodeling a little bit. They have a 21 juice cleanse that takes 3 days to complete. Once you complete that, you're kind of like, I'm done. So we have some things in the works that we're building.
So
we're going to test
offer stuff. Yeah. So
product development, actually, but exactly right. So long story short, I'm like, hey, why did you buy the juice? Well, I was fat, I was gassy, I was bloated, I had diarrhea, whatever it is, wherever you needed a cleanse. That is what we're going to be building out subsequent juices for. So you came to us and got the cleanse. Why? I felt my immune system's bad. Well, great. After you're done with the cleanse, why don't you do the immunity protection bundle? This means that I keep exactly right. So you have an LTV built in because now we're going to be able to sustain the reason of good health as to why they came to us in the first place when it was bad. So we'll go through all that. Another call. It'll be really, really fun when we test it.
That's phase 2.
Exactly right. Fix the problem, get it back up, and now let's grow LTV. So we fixed our NCAC, we fixed our scale, we fixed our new customer. Now it's LTV time that we have to work on next. But it is good to see this thing going from basically kind of a May, June, July, August, September crash. And now we're actually at 1388 back in July, and we're at 1471. We're back to in between June and July numbers now. This is climbing back up.
Changing,
stupid fast. And we did it with a better CAC.
Yeah.
Now that's really fantastic because if we look back into June and July, our CAC here,
like a better CAC.
Yeah,
what about it?
Well, check this out here. This is kind of fun. The CAC between June and July was 106. When we doubled spend, what did we get? A 93. We're actually better optimized than we were back then.
Yeah. So, it's interesting that the mix here. I mean, this is MMM in action right here.
Yep.
But it's like you've got sort of this 2/3, 1/3 mix, 2/3 being Meta, top of funnel. I have to assume creative diversification, Meta, Andromeda, all the stuff that we're doing on the regular.
Went from
Over
5
on that side.
campaigns down to 1 first click
Yeah,
CAPI
okay.
import, taking only
A
the
lot of
high spend
optimization.
ads, they had one where they did an ad and was like, crush your symptoms in 3 days. And then the other one was just like, detox. And it was like, whoa, we changed narrative, and all of a sudden it started to fail. So I went back to there and make 3 more versions of that.
Yeah.
Just call them different rather than, rebuild your immunity, get back to energize or your energy, like wake up feeling better, blah, blah, blah. Just stay
Different
along the same
attributes.
narrative and touch upon different pain points. Exactly.
Creative diversification. When did that start getting implemented? When did that creative change happen in and around? Right around there?
Kind of right around the last 2 weeks. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So,
what's funny is once he doubled the ad spend,
again,
the best performing ads that used to work shot back up to the top.
Got it.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. All right. So this is super, super recent. Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Makes
This is just last week.
Yeah. And you're already seeing it. Like, this is just like a doctor used to say, Mr. Burns, one warm day in spring doth not make a summer. However,
how about a month?
When I was telling pharmaceutical, like, you're 2 weeks in though. Like, was that weeks or months? I forget now. You're about 2 months or 2 weeks.
We started this on October 6th. So we're just passed over the first 4 weeks.
So you're starting to see that optimization of those campaigns starting to kick in now that you've shifted the budget, obviously, over to the more top of funnel. You're still getting some last clicks for, first click CAPI imports over on Google Shopping. I assume you're also getting some repeat business, obviously, but the majority of it, you're shifting it over to awareness for the product for new audiences that have never bought from you before.
This is all done with like 4 ads too on Meta. Like we have 20, but 4 are just rocking. And so we're just making new versions of those 4. That's it.
So out of the creative diversification, 10 different ad types, you're using like what, 1 or 2 maybe, or 1?
3 images and 1 video are just cranking, and they all have the same messaging, which is really interesting because when you're looking at your nomenclature, basically concept 1, hook 1, hook 2, offer 1 is winning right now. So we're just making the same thing. Concept is a 3-day cleanse. The hook was actually more about the how it is kind of like fast and violent, like shock your system and reboot. I mean, you're basically drinking 21 juices in 3 days. You're probably gonna be on the toilet half the time. But yeah, I mean, you are just like restructuring your microbiome and head to toe of your body. And now that's going to be a shock to your system for sure. But you are going to basically do like a hard reset.
Shock to your bathroom.
Yeah. RORoWAZ is going to be called on speed dial.
Damn.
But that's what basically it does. It's going to go through it. So that's what's nice is and you can actually see it now when we go into the analytics. If we look at the last 30 days here compared to the previous period, which is when we started to scale, you'll see there it is. Organic juice cleanse is up 21% because we have 1,500 and 1,200, but half of that went up half. So that's about 25%. Ta-da. Half of half is about 25, and that's 21. They're buying pretty much that product. There's a couple other things that will get some kind of love every now and then, like the Red Cure and the G3 Live, but we're going to be doing more product development to enhance the LTV so that our NCAC targets can even be higher so we can scale faster.
Yeah. The juice cleanse is the flagship product, but you're getting some other additional stuff, which is like offer-based stuff later on.
Yeah, exactly. So you'll see like this one basically is kind of like, we don't really run a lot of brand at all. Like I just don't care about brand. I can increase new customers 50% in a week or in a month without touching a brand campaign. So when people look at ROAS, that's the reason why. Google looks better, but we're not actually spending anymore. But that's where you're looking at, like, you are doing that in 3 days. Like, that is a lot of juice. You don't really want to drink juice afterwards, but you feel great. But in order for you to not, in order for you to want to come back and continue is, okay, you were bad. Now you're good. Let's stay good. Okay, perfect. And then put you on a nice regimen that allows you to overcome the issue that you had in the first place, but that brought you here in the first place. So that'll be phase 2. We'll do another case study on that where we're increasing LTV. But you'll actually see this. Yeah. This is the meta ROAS. So I hid this column from before and I brought it back in here. If we look at the meta ROAS during this time period, it was a 161 and then it was a 1.59. Basically same ROAS. So when you're looking at first click CAPI imports,
in-app, obviously.
In-app, exactly. Yeah. Meta ROAS is in-app of first click CAPI imports. You're basically, when our spend levels went from 11 grand to 23 grand, our meta ROAS in platform on new customer first click only went from a 1.6 to a 1.59. It basically stayed within 1/1000th of a percent. So when it stays within 1/1000th of a percent, this is what I'm talking about by first click CAPI import. When you have Meta optimizing for a result it was solely responsible for.
Sure.
John, how much should I scale? Well, why don't you just double it in a day? You could do that. And now, if I took a campaign where 75% of those recorded sales never happened on that campaign and I doubled that spend, it's going to blow up in my face.
Yeah.
So that's why I think the first click CAPI imports allows you to take a broader look at your business and say, it looks like when our spend level started to do this, we started to falter. When we did this, it started to look better. But then when we just brought this one up, it looks even better. Okay, excellent. Just keep cranking and let NCAC be your guide. You don't even have to jump into the platform. I don't have access to his Facebook ads. We did this without me even looking at the campaigns.
Oh, that's okay. You mentioned that to begin with. Okay, so you're just basically, all right. So this is advising on the creative diversification strategy, but then utilizing the first click CAPI imports on the Got it.
So he's following the SOP that we've circled internally, or what we use on our clients. He has the creative because he does have this is like my client's client. So he was basically saying like, yep, they can get it done. So it's like, okay, cool. And this is why I'm running the Meta or running the Google, but advising him and his creative team, this is what you need to produce. Actually, the owner himself is the one that actually does a lot of the videos. So I'm just like we need like 15 more of these, like done. And they'll just keep pumping. Because we need like about 3 to 4 ads every 1 to 2 weeks with the spend levels that we're at. We're only spending about $30K a week, but that's enough that you're going to need, 5 new ads per week kind of thing on average.
Makes sense.
But yeah, it's really interesting.
Question for you, how this would relate to, because it's a 60-40 split here, like 2/3 to 1/3 from Meta over to Google Shopping. How transferable is that to somebody who's watching here and to say, all right, well, what should my mix be when I'm doing MMM? Is that a benchmark that you would rely on? Because it seems like you were kind of going that way when you first started.
Yep. Yeah, it was 22-32. The issue is they were not tracking new customers first click. And each time that they would add $1 into the campaign, ROAS in platform would tank.
Okay.
So remember,
you had to fix that first before you could do any of the
and that's the first click CAPI imports. And that's the reason why it's like, okay, when every single time we add $5, John, ROAS tanks. But you're telling me with your first click CAPI import idea that I can go from $9,000 to 22 in 2 weeks and not see a drop? Correct. And that's what we started doing. This is the first day here. Went from 183 down to 119, and then pop right back up to 16, 17, 18. Why? A week-long sales cycle, which means when you go from 12 to 22, you're going to shock the system in both NCAC and in platform ROAS. After 7 days, which means your time lag is 7 days, you don't count this date here. You start measuring here because this is the ramp up. And now the NCAC went from 79 to 89. It's under 120. We're still good, but our spend went from 12 to 24, and our ROAS is only 0.2 worse. That's fine. Keep cranking. And actually, as soon as we kept going, NCAC the week after that, because about a 7-day sales cycle, went down $9 more, and then ROAS jumped back up. Now we started at a 1.8 at 12, and now we're at a 1.7 with 21. So it is a lot easier to have your ROAS not tank down because you just throw a whole bunch of ad spend on it because it will repeat the actions that it was attributing, and those actual NCACs will look good. Here's a good one. If that $35 in-platform CPA in my campaign, if I added a whole bunch of new customers at $100 average, that 35 would start to go up, right?
Yeah.
Right. That's when people usually panic. Oh no, I'm getting new customers. I gotta stop. Yeah. That's what they're doing on accident. They don't realize it.
Right.
New customers cost more than returning customers. So when you add more new, your CPA average goes up. If you just eliminate it and stop optimizing for the returning customers, you'll still get them, but it will not start to target them more, throwing off your scale.
Yeah. So I guess if you are like, if you're doing creative diversification, you're doing first click CAPI imports on Meta, you've got, those campaigns humming, but you're also figuring out like, what's my media mix? What should it be? I'm in the e-commerce space. I have Google Shopping that's running. You said very, very small amount of brand on this, no high value keyword
like 1/30th of the spend, right?
1/30th of the spend is nothing. You're getting some conversions over there. That's fine. But the point is that 2/3, 1/3 mix about right in most cases when it comes to these sorts of models, or is it just specific to this brand, or Like, what can people take away? Say, all right, that's what I should be doing with my, I'm selling apparel, or I'm selling beauty, or I'm selling whatever it is. Like, what would be your recommendation or guideline?
Yeah, so it depends on a few factors. Industry first is what you want to look at. Like, if I say dumpster rentals, Meta may not be the best. Dumpster rental near me would probably scale way quicker. So if I can be like
more like e-commerce, but anyway, keep going with that thought. But
and it's exactly right. It's almost like what you have to look at is a few things, and I'll give you like kind of my SOPs that I go through in my mind, which is is it an established industry that people are going to search for first rather than would be interrupted in their day. So when I say search for first, I can't be like, here's a good example. Facebook for personal injury. That's hard, very hard, because there's no demographic, psychographic, geographic. It's pure situational. Yeah. Hey, Ralph, got in a car accident today? No? Shit. See you tomorrow. Now, if I'm Google, I just wait until you go to Google and say personal injury attorney. Now I know you're immediately relevant. So
I know what kind of ads we run on Facebook for personal injury. It's not that.
Anyway. I know. But what I'm saying is, like, if I'm talking for like what general people would do.
Absolutely.
What we typically see.
Right. Like, that would be a direct response ad on a social interruption platform that makes no sense.
There's no brand building. There's no case studies. There's no repetition. There's no TV commercial. Like the bus and the bench type of advertising, that always works really, really well. And you have to do it. Right. But if you're looking at, okay, I'm a personal injury attorney. Do I choose Meta or Google first? That right there is like, those are the things you have to ask yourself. You can actually attract a lot of bottom of the funnel, but your ceiling's much lower. Right. On Google, which means I can capture everyone that's looking for me. And then once I plateau at the people looking for me, then I can surpass that with Meta a lot of the times. Yep. It really is heavily dependent upon industry, though. I mean, it's very dependent upon industry. Typically, though, if you have a wide reaching offer that can reach most of the general population, shoes, that's everyone wears shoes, food, everyone has to eat, juice,
laundry detergent.
Tablets to clean your floors.
Wash your hands.
Exactly right. Like, hey, are you alive on Thursday? Want a clean house? Nope. Like, how does that happen? So,
do you have dirty laundry? Yeah.
Hey, do you wear clothes? I do.
Do you wash your hands? Hopefully you do. Otherwise, it's really kind of disgusting.
Yeah. So I would do this. If you put yourself in the middle of a stadium, okay, you're in a football stadium, and you walk out during halftime and you grab the mic and you say, folks, I have a 21 juice cleanse available for half off. Theoretically, 80% of those people would be like, okay, I'll try it. Now, if I walk out to that same thing and say, hey, folks, who has lost, their dog this week? It's like, there's probably a lot fewer people, but I have to pay for all of those with Meta. Yeah, right. That's the difference. Is Meta, you're buying the haystack, hoping there's a lot of needles. Google, you're trying to buy just the needles. So that is the kind of the thought process that you have to think about is, can I afford this mass marketing because there's a large portion of these people inside of the general population, or is this really when I have to kind of wait for them to search? The amount of answers between those two questions will dictate your spend levels.
I like that haystack analogy. We should use that more. That's pretty good.
Right.
You think that one off the top of your head?
I've used that for a few months.
Farmer John.
Right.
All right. So classic marketing example, trying to get John Moran to paint it into a corner here. Like, this is what you do. Is like, it always depends.
Always depends. Everything's custom.
That's all right. No,
I try to give you the building blocks, the blueprints, everyone, so that you can apply the rules to yourself, because cookie cutter does not fail. That's called a bad agency.
Yeah. Well, if it was that easy, everybody'd be able to do it. But we've said that many, many times before. So that's fascinating. I'm going to be really interested to see how that one develops.